Hi, I'm Jesse at StroPro.com, and today I'm going to be showing you the Godox S2 bracket. Now, it has been on the market for a while, but there might be some features that you missed and some unique situations that you could use this in that you never thought about before. So let's take a closer look and see what the S2 bracket is all about. So the S2 bracket in its most basic form is a way for you to take a speed light, attach it to this bracket, and give you more articulation or the ability to add an umbrella or a modifier. So if we have it in this position here, which is flat, what I can do is take a speed light, put it in the back, clamp this down, and now I have the ability to articulate this bracket all around. The nice thing about the S2 bracket, as opposed to the S1, which came before it, is we have this piece right here that pops out. And what that does is allow you to use round lights, so like this Godox V1 here. Now we can fit that round head in there, and I'll show you a couple strobes in a second that this can also be used with. So in its most basic form, it holds a speed light or a small flash, but there's much more to this, so let's take a little bit closer look at that now. The whole reason the S2 bracket was made was to give you more versatility when installing a speed light. So most speed lights come with this flash foot, and you can mount that onto the spigot here, but the only articulation you're going to get is from the actual tilt of the speed light. We can't add any modifiers to that. So that's where the S2 comes into place. It's really easy. We just back off this thumb screw right here, drop it onto our spigot, tighten that down, and now we've got the ability to take that same speed light. So right now it's in the square position, clamp that down, and this is all rubber on there, so you're not going to scratch a speed light or a strobe. You don't have to worry about that. Now that that's in there, we can take this, and if it hits or anything, we've got a spring-mounted lever there, but you can see that we can tilt this straight up, we can tilt it forward. And then the best thing is, once we put that back into position, is we can take a modifier. Right now I've just grabbed this reflector. This is a 7-inch reflector, and it's Bowens mount. So this is the only thing you have to keep in mind, that all the accessories have to be Bowens mount. So basically anything that StroPro sells, or even Godox, is Bowens mount. And up here you'll see that we have those 3 indents right there. That lines up to the 3 bayonets on this. Line them up, put that in flush. Once it's in flush, we give that a quarter turn. Now it's locked in. So now we've got a reflector on there, and this could be any modifier. So most people are going to use that with a softbox, a beauty dish, something like that, but you can see how much more versatility that gives you right away. To remove that, we just have this lever over here, so I can pull that back, give it a quarter turn, pull it out, and we're good to go again with just the speed light. So it's a lot stronger. You don't have to worry about breaking off a mount like this in the wind if you're using it outside. This is really sturdy. It's not going to fall out. Like I said, it has the rubber grip on there. So even if I pull that, it's not going anywhere until I turn that dial up and release it. So that's the square head here, or rectangle I should say, but we also have the ability, like I showed previously, that we can pull the bottom plate out here. So it's actually 2 pieces. It just slides out. It's friction fed there. And we have this flat part, and then we have this little bracket on the bottom, and they kind of just snap apart. So I'm just applying a little bit of force there. They separate like that, and then you can take that off. Now the reason why you want to do this instead of just use it right there is you might want a little bit more grip, or you might be using something where the diameter is just a little bit smaller. So you can use that piece in there. Then we can take our V1 actually, and this is a round head, so no way to mount it other than this. Back that off, put it in flat, and then crank it down. So now we have the ability to use a round head as well as a rectangle head speed light in there. So I mentioned about separating the flat part and then this piece in here, and that's great for centering the V1 in the middle of the opening for the round head there. But if you grab something like this 8300, you're going to see that it will not fit with that piece in there. Now the AD100 will actually fit, so you can use it in there to center that. So that's a great bracket for the AD100. But for this, we actually need to pull that out. So separate that piece, and then the AD300 will slide in. Now you can see that I've got the standard spigot adapter here for the AD300 that comes with it. And this is just really basic, right? We can put this on a stand and tilt it up and down, but we can't add any modifiers. So especially with the AD300, if you don't want to buy the separate Bowens ring that goes onto it, then pick up the S2 bracket, because you can take this off then, just by spinning that, and it's going to disconnect. And now we can go straight into the S2 bracket, and we can also control our depth too. So you might want to focus that a little bit more into a softbox so you can push it through, or you can pull it back, whatever you want to do. Again, you don't even have to use the reflector that's on here. You could pull that off if you wanted to, if we're going directly into a softbox, for example, and just run it like that. So a lot of versatility. So we've got the AD300, the AD100, and the V1, which will currently fit with the S2 bracket. Those are all the round speed lights and strobes. But we also have the ability to run 2 speed lights in there. So let me show you that now. So I'm going to show you another little trick here, but we're going to convert this back to the flat mount. So I have the 2 pieces, and again, they just clip together. So there's 2 openings there. Just snap them back together, and then we're going to go to the back of the flash here, or the back of the S2 bracket, and just line up those grooves. It can be a little bit tricky, but slide them in there. See, I missed it there. There we go. So it's in there nice and flush. Now, if you happen to have a couple of Godox TT350s or V350s, those are the smaller speed lights, so you'll be able to tell it's definitely a lot smaller here. What you can do is actually mount 2 of those. So we can go back to back or front to back. It doesn't really matter because you're going to be using a controller. But you're going to open up the clamp and put these in just like that. So on their side, try to put them in as even as you can. Then you're going to clamp that down. From there, we can put a modifier on there. We can adjust that up and down. So if you need a little bit more power and you happen to have a couple of those smaller speed lights, then that's a great way to use the S2 bracket. So now let's mount an umbrella to the S2 bracket. If you happen to have the previous version, the S1, you might realize that there's no thumb screw anymore for tightening the umbrella shaft. Instead, we have this kind of little tunnel here, and we put the umbrella shaft through there. Inside there's a spring clip, so there's no screw or anything, you're not missing anything, so don't worry about that. Now, one important thing that we need to note about this is that it will only work from one way. It needs to go in from the front here, because if you put it in back there, it's going to get jammed on the clip, and you're actually going to damage the clip. This is designed to release, so if you get a gust of wind, it's actually designed for the umbrella to come out of it rather than take your whole stand down, and that's why that change was made. But it's really easy to put that in, so again, just line up the umbrella shaft. That's going to slide in there. I should mention that when they're new, it is quite stiff, so don't worry, you're not going to break anything. As long as it's going in from this direction, we're good to go. So from there, we can take our speed light if we want, clamp this down, we'll just turn it down. And now we have the ability, with this umbrella mounted, it's nice and secure. We can adjust the tilt up, down, wherever we want, lock it into place, and we've got a really solid platform to work from. Now I've grabbed our 25-inch beauty dish, and this is where the S2 bracket really shines. You can take a heavy modifier, use it with a speed light, use it with the AD100, and have a really secure attachment point. So just like before when I showed you that reflector, this is Bowens. So we have the 3 prongs there. We're just going to line them up with the 3 on the front, give it a quarter turn, and we're locked in there. So now we can take any modifiers we have, strip boxes, octaboxes, soft boxes, it doesn't matter. Really nice, strong platform. And this grips really hard as well. So I don't have to worry about really cranking that down hard. Just a quarter turn on the lever is going to lock it into position. So as you can see, that can be really convenient, or if we want to mount our AD300 in there, for example, we would just take, again, the round part out here, or the flat part out, so to convert it to the round. So just like that, we back the thumb screw all the way up, and then take our AD300, pop it in there. Now it's locked into place. You can use this for, again, the strobe, a speed light, whatever you want. It's just a really versatile piece of mounting equipment. I've grabbed the S1, which is the previous version, just to show you. Again, it doesn't have that removable piece there. And this is actually all redesigned down here on the gear. So one of the things you guys asked about was changing this from a more difficult bracket to twist. So if I have that mounted on a stand, there's gears in here that click down into position. And sometimes, like when you have just a light modifier or a speed light on it, it takes a little bit of force to do that. So the difference is with the S2, it's all a smooth, stepless system. So I've lowered that, you can hear it's not clicking at all. We can put that into any position, so we're not limited just to where these clicks happen to line up. And that's all metal in there as well, as opposed to plastic. So a few different features on the S2 that I would say is definitely worth the upgrade if you happen to still have the S1. So there you have it. That's everything you need to know about the Godox S2 bracket. It's an awesome bracket whether you want to mount speed lights, strobes, umbrellas, or softboxes. It's very versatile and it's going to come in handy countless times. So pick one up at Strobe Pro, and until next time, enjoy creating.